Our story begins inside the Pure Heart Palace, where Shen Tian, the 13th prince of the Great Yan dynasty, who had been lying motionless in bed for a whole month, finally decided to get up. He told Uncle Gui, or Eunuch Gui, his close old eunuch, that he wanted to take a bath, change clothes, and go for a walk. Hearing this, Eunuch Gui's eyes filled with endless tears of gratitude. During the entire time His Highness lay still, the old man was extremely worried. In the past, whenever the 13th prince suffered from qi deviation, his temper would become violently erratic. Once he recovered even a little spiritual energy, he would desperately get out of bed to find other martial arts to practice relentlessly. But this time, Shen Tian's long, peaceful rest without being stubborn made Eunuch Gui feel as if a massive mountain had been lifted off his chest.
However, looking back over the past month, the reality was full of headaches for Eunuch Gui. At first, he secretly hoped that the prince finally knew how to cherish his own body, even thinking that if the late consort Lan knew, she would smile widely with joy throughout the underworld. But as time passed, Eunuch Gui realized it wasn't that simple, as the 13th prince's behavior became alarmingly unusual. Although the royal doctor told him to rest in bed and not wander around unnecessarily, it didn't mean he had to eat, drink, and excrete entirely in bed without stepping down at all. Even if beaten to death, the prince wouldn't move, making Eunuch Gui wonder what he was up to, or if he had actually become bedridden. This highly abnormal docility for a whole month almost made Eunuch Gui call the royal doctor to check if His Highness's brain was damaged from the qi deviation, had His Highness not gotten up to prepare to go outside today.
After Shen Tian got up to clean himself, he bathed, changed clothes, washed his face, and put on an exquisite white python-patterned robe, styled his hair in a flying crane cloud bun, and wore gold sand cloud-stepping shoes. When he stood in front of the mirror, the reflection made Shen Tian almost fall over in shock, because the handsome man in the mirror was flawlessly elegant and naturally extraordinary. Shen Tian couldn't help but think that with such perfect looks, if he were born in the 21st century, he would definitely struggle 20 years less. No, with disappearance, it could save him 200 years of struggling in life.
However, amidst this godlike handsomeness, there was only one imperfection that immensely bothered him. The halo floating above his head was still pitch black. Its dark radiance cast a shadow over his handsome face, making him look as dark as a tribal chief. Shen Tian stared at his reflection with frustration, firmly swearing in his heart to find a way to deal with this black halo as soon as possible, because it was a symbol of bad luck eating away at his life. He even sarcastically thought that even if the halo turned green, it would still be better than bearing this fatal bad luck that could kill him at any moment.
After finishing dressing up, and with thousands of thoughts in his mind, Shen Tian finally stepped out of the Pure Heart Palace. But what clearly reflected his fate was that while he strolled through the vast royal palace, within a 10-meter radius, not a single person dared to come close. Groups of eunuchs and court maids all fled as far as possible, as if terrified of catching a plague from the god of disaster. These suspicious and disgusted gazes made Shen Tian feel extremely displeased.
Facing an environment where everyone kept their distance and looked at him with fearful eyes, Shen Tian could only wonder how the original unlucky guy survived the past 16 years. He himself felt suffocated and driven crazy after being looked at with such disgust for just a moment. But the original 13th prince had been stared at like this by the whole palace for a full 16 years, yet he never gave up. On the contrary, even at the cost of his life, he relentlessly fought against his fate.
What was even more impressive was that despite 16 years of sinking in bad luck and disgust, the 13th prince showed no signs of being consumed by darkness and turning evil. Shen Tian couldn't help but praise this inner strength from the bottom of his heart. This resolute, unyielding character that stuck to his own path could only be compared to a character like Naruto who never gives up. While strolling and lost in thought in the palace courtyard, Shen Tian observed the miraculous things around him, the halos floating above others' heads, From his observations, he found that the halos of most servant eunuchs and maids were white and quite dim, looking ordinary, simple, and unremarkable. They didn't look like people with great luck at all.
However, when he observed slightly higher-ranking eunuchs and maids, he noticed their halos were slightly brighter. Occasionally, he saw a few high-ranking eunuchs, such as the head of the kitchen, wardrobe, or royal stables, possessing light green halos. They radiated a faint green light rich in vitality, just like eunuch Gui's halos. From these observations, Shen Tian concluded the rules of fate. Black represents bad luck, normal people have white halos, and those with good luck have green halos above their heads.
After processing the halo color rules, the corner of Shen Tian's mouth twitched slightly with sarcasm and amusement. He secretly imagined a dark joke from his previous life. Could it be true in this world? The saying goes, if you want your life to continue, you need some green on your head, which in the old world meant being cuckolded or enduring shame. To need a green head to attract good luck, Shen Tian thought, was truly a bizarre and crazy concept. But then, amidst his wandering thoughts, Shen Tian's eyes suddenly narrowed, and his footsteps halted immediately. His gaze fell upon someone. Among the crowds in the royal palace, he found someone extremely special, a little eunuch standing far away, who looked completely unremarkable on the outside.
That little eunuch wore a common servant's uniform, indicating the lowest rank in the palace. His body was pitifully thin and pale, and his expression was depressed and lifeless, like someone crushed by fate his whole life. He was just a low-level worker, doing his duty with his head down, completely ignored by everyone.
But what made Shen Tian feel conflicted and so shocked he almost forgot to breathe was the halo floating prominently above this lowly eunuch's head. It wasn't the unlucky black, the ordinary white, or the lucky green. Instead, this person's halo was bright red. It radiated a dazzling, blinding light like the sun, looking majestic and overwhelmingly powerful. In Shen Tian's eyes, this little eunuch had completely become the center of the universe. Even though Shen Tian had unparalleled handsome looks, compared to the utterly ominous black halo on his head, he was completely outshone by this red light. Shen Tian exclaimed in his heart, "Just a little eunuch, but with such an exaggeratedly outstanding halo? Could this be the true child of destiny?" Out of surprise, Shen Tian kept staring at the little eunuch unblinking, making the other party get goosebumps all over. Even though this little eunuch had just entered the palace, he had heard the rumors. The prince of the Pure Heart Palace was the most elegant person, but also came with the most terrible bad luck in the Great Yan Dynasty. The golden rule for servants was to stay away from him unless absolutely necessary, or else their lives would be in mortal danger. Recalling this warning, the little eunuch hurriedly bowed in a panic, thinking only of turning around and running away as soon as he finished. However, what the little eunuch unexpectedly feared the most happened. Shen Tian didn't let him leave, but called out in a flat voice, "You, come here." Hearing that order, the little eunuch's legs trembled in terror. His mind was in extreme panic. The 13th prince ordered me to go to him? No way. I'm just an ordinary little eunuch. How dare I offend this star of disaster? He had heard that anyone who came within 3 zongs, about 10 meters, of the prince would be infected by his bad luck, and then no one else would dare approach them, which could even be life-threatening. If he walked too close, wouldn't that be seeking death? But on the other hand, if he disobeyed the prince's order, the punishment would probably kill him even faster. Realizing that approaching meant possible death, and not approaching meant certain death, this little eunuch, the so-called child of destiny, was so terrified he almost wanted to cry out loud right there in the courtyard. If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up to show your support. And if you don't want to miss out on more fun stories or great insights like this, make sure to hit that subscribe button. Most importantly, don't forget to turn on the notification bell so you'll be the first to know when we drop a new video. Thanks for watching until the end. See you in the next one. Bye for now.